I think this story is crazy enough in itself. In just, a long time grinder, biggest score of 17k, Binks 130k to almost get out of makeup, and then Binks 220k to completely clear the makeup, have money in his back pocket. Finally all the years of hard work coming to fruition. But then when you add in this whole baby narrative of literally you're told a baby's on the way, and a month, just over a month, you get these scores. Welcome to the Lockdown Life podcast. My name is Jamie Flynn. You can get in touch with me on Twitter at jam_fly. All podcasts are available on our YouTube channel. And while you are there, I would appreciate it if you hit the subscribe button. Picture this. You're an online professional poker player. You're playing online, grinding day in, day out. Your girlfriend tells you one day that she's pregnant. What do you do? My guest today went and won $130,000. And a month later, followed that up with a score of $220,000. Welcome to the podcast, Conor O'Driscoll.
Thank you.
So, Conor, you've had quite a couple of months in your life during the pandemic there. You got some good news and followed that up with two biggest scores of your career.
Yeah, when she told me, I went for, do you know Daniel Ty?
Yeah,
and his brother Kieran. So his brother Kieran's was living here in London at the time, and I went for a pint with him, and I was like, I said, oh, she's, Rim is pregnant, and he was like, no, she's not. She is, yeah. I bet. And then we're talking away and had a few pints. And I was like, I bet you any money now that I will have my big scores that I've been waiting all these years for, like now, or my big score. I bet you I'll win loads of money before the baby comes. It's just the way, and then it happened. And he messaged me straight away, like, what the fuck? What is this?
Yeah. What was the time gap between finding out that there's a baby on the way and big score number one?
I think it was about 9 days, because it was like a Friday, and then it wasn't that Sunday, it was the following. Yeah, so like 9 or 10 days.
Yeah,
that was the first one.
Wow.
And the thing about that one was, so we'll get into my makeup situation and my side makeup and stuff, but I was on a low buy-in schedule, and Jordan, the founder of BBZ, put in one of the group chats, these satellites for WPTs are overlaying. We should play them. So I got in touch with the guy that manages me, and I said, should I play? And he's like, yeah, play a few to the 320. So I played a few, and usually if I'm playing a higher buy-in on my new schedule, I'd have to sell like half of a 320, And so I did. I satellite and didn't have time to sell. Straight in. And I ended up winning. It was a 3-day event. I didn't tell anyone that I made day 2. Didn't tell anyone I made day 3. Just kept it completely to myself. I didn't want to rail because I wanted, to focus or whatever.
Yeah.
That's it. Worked. I did the same thing with the second one as well.
Yeah. So I suppose you're playing a lower buy-in schedule. So you're staked by BBZ, and you're in some makeup playing. So what would your average buy-in have been, say, prior to these couple of scores? What would your kind of average buy-in have been?
Yeah, so weekdays, Monday to Friday, would be no more than $33, right?
Yeah.
So I play like $150 in a day, maybe. Then on the weekend, I play the Sunday Million, which is 109. Other than that, no higher than 55. And then, I can ask, like, if I clear a bit of makeup, I can say, oh, can I play this? And he'll say, oh, sell half or whatever.
Yeah.
Sell to friends. But, so the opportunities of getting the big scores, like the plan that I was on was slowly getting out of makeup, which I was doing quite well. I cleared like 30K and I was getting chops myself.
Yeah.
They were letting me chop in makeup. So like they put the big makeup to one side, started me again on the lower schedule and said 50% of the profit goes to clearing the old makeup and 50% gets chopped. So I was getting 25% along the way.
Yeah.
Quite clear. So yeah, I was doing quite well, and yeah, then this score came along, fucking cleared the whole lot.
Just to kind of to give a bit of context. So it's just you're kind of grinding away, trying to make a few quid here and there, knocking money off makeup, kind of a few grand at a time. You're trying to just grind away, playing kind of small buy-in tournaments. The satellites start overlaying on PartyPoker, so you play a few of them. Had you played the 320 or the 330 buy-in? Was it the 320 buy-in?
There was a 320 championship event. It was like it starts, day 1A was Saturday, which I played. Day 1B Sunday, day 2 Monday, and final table then was Tuesday.
So you're just so you jump in the satellite. Can you discuss what your makeup was at the time?
Yeah. So when they put me on this new deal, it was up to like $110,000, and I had it down to like around 80K.
Okay.
So that was like but then the other 30 was chopped. So I won like 60K over the last year or whatever.
Yeah.
And so it's down to 80. So actually, when I got to 120, I asked, could I take it on the side deal instead of just putting them all together? So 60K went to clearing the 80. So I was left in 20K makeup, and then we chopped the other 60 in half. So I got 30 out of the 120.
Okay. So just so you're in 80K makeup going into the first score.
Yeah.
So
then on the side makeup, I had makeup as well. That was like 8K.
Okay. Yeah. So just So I have a clear.
Deal 1 was 80K. Deal 2 about 8 or 9K.
8 or 9K. Okay. I get you. Yeah. So you get 120K score. 60 of that is knocked off the 80K makeup.
Yeah,
and 60K then is split for yourself.
Yeah, after the 8K.
Yeah. Okay. So I suppose the kind of the weekend you're playing, as you said, you have this big mountain of makeup that you're kind of looking to clear. You're getting kind of 5-figure, not to mind 6-figure scores, as you said, comes around rarely enough. When you make day 2 of the 320. First of all, so you're in the money after making day 2, I assume.
No, I think it's kind of halfway through day 2.
Okay. So
usually with these phases, it wasn't a phase. Well, I suppose it was. It was day 1A and day 1B, but it was more like the live structure.
Yeah. Okay.
It would have been live if it wasn't for lockdown, right? It was WPT.
Yeah.
So so it was like the live structure. So it wasn't like a phase. Most phase tournaments online, you're pretty much in the money when you make phase 2.
Yeah.
But no, it was like halfway through day 2, and when I made day 3, I was really excited. I wanted to tell people, but I've been close so many times, and people don't care, man. Well, they do, I suppose, but I don't know. I just didn't want to rail. I didn't want people. I wanted to just fucking do it.
Yeah. How many is left? So going into day 3?
15.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So okay,
it's
pretty close then. Yeah. What's the feeling going into day 3? Like obviously you're looking at the big prizes. What did 15th pay?
I think it was about 7,000.
7,000.
I think the next pay jump was 7,000 or something.
Okay.
I'm probably wrong about that.
Yeah.
Something along those lines. Anyway. I was happy with the 7K because, I was getting like. There's another thing that BBZ does as well. You can have this in makeup chop. So if you're in any bit of makeup, you can chop 10%. So you get 5 each, eventing over 1,000. So it doesn't matter what makeup you're in.
You chop 10% of anything over any score over 1,000.
Yeah, so 5 each.
Okay. Yes.
As well. That's for all players. That's not just to anyone, anyone that comes.
Yeah. So if you were getting a 7K score, you're chopping,
You get 300, and you're in 10K makeup. You get 350 quid.
Yeah. Okay, I get you. Yeah. So it's kind of the coming into day 3 and getting the Joe, you're guaranteed a decent enough score, but I'm sure. How many times have you been in that situation with Joe, a big top prize, and you're kind of down to the last 2 or 3 tables, and you're dreaming about the 6-figure score? It just doesn't happen. And like, obviously that you've been on the streets for quite a few years, like grinding away. How many times have you been in that spot where, as you said, you've come close, you've had the rail, but just didn't quite click?
Yeah, loads. That's how I got in the makeup.
That's how 100K makeup gets formed, lads. When you don't win the tournaments, that's what happens.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but you see, back then we're huge in BBZ. We're huge into ICM these days, and it's really, really helped a lot. Like, I mean, it's such a huge part. I know you can go check it out on the website or whatever, but there's Ape Styles has a video kind of explaining how important ICM is. And we have one guy who just is our Mr. ICM, and he does a seminar every week, and it's really important.
Yeah.
It changes. Chip EV and ICM is just such a huge difference. Like, you can't be doing certain things that you could do early on. You just can't do them.
Yeah. How long have you been with BBZ?
That's a good question, man. 3 years, maybe 3 or 4 years.
Okay, yeah, and I know you definitely put a lot of weight in the kind of the coaching and the improving of the players in the stable that they do. Yeah,
that's huge. Because when we became poker players first, and you start winning, it's like, geez, this is easy. Yeah. But it's like you have to work, man. Really, if you want to do it and make a living and do it long term, you really have to do a lot of work, especially online, anyway.
Yeah. And
it's important to study. That's what I've learned over the years, for sure.
Yeah. And so you're saying in particular with BBZ, there's been a lot of emphasis on ICM. You've obviously put in quite a bit of work so recently on that side of the game.
Yeah, I mean, I've watched just the coaching videos they do in the week. You can access them later. So even before that final table, the WPT, I rewatched a few of those videos and just taking notes of things that stood out. But the good way about how they teach as well, they give you general tips. Like, they'll explain the nitty gritty and the exact exact spots, but then they'll give you a general kind of thing that will stick in your brain. And his voice sticks in your brain anyway, because he's real kind of, do this, don't do this. This is a 100% open, don't ever fold this, or especially the one-on-ones. He doesn't. It's like really. It's like, what the fuck are you doing here? You and you remember it.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, I assume with stables now, with big stables, it has to be an awful lot of it's definitely worth it from their point of view to be putting in a lot of time into how best to kind of teach the players or convey the message. As you said there, so it doesn't sound like it's all, you can tell anyone, Joe, run this holding resources calculation, run these numbers, do this sim or whatever, but that doesn't work for a lot of people. So sounds like they do a fairly good job of kind of conveying the message and getting it across to the players that can actually implement it well.
Yeah, they really do. And actually there's some videos on their website, and we can give away a couple in this podcast, actually, now that I think about it. There's a couple of videos we can give away. And we were remember we were talking earlier, we've got really rookie numbers on Instagram, right?
Yeah.
So I was thinking we give away videos get people to follow our Instagram, put our Instagram names in the subscription or description.
Yeah, down below, yeah.
Down below, down there.
Down below. I'll include it in the description, yeah.
Yeah, and just give away just any new followers we get, like get up to like, 500. The 500th follower gets it, or to pick a random name from between now and then or something.
Yeah.
Just sure they follow us on Instagram.
Yeah. Okay. So I'd like to take this opportunity to thank the first ever sponsor of the Lockdown Life podcast, BBZ Poker. So yeah, BBZ, they're a staking company, and so they also offer coaching separately to the staking. I just want to get it right now that our first official giveaway on the podcast.
They're leaning more towards coaching these days, actually.
Okay.
Still taking on players for sure, but I've switched from the staking now to coach for profit. So I'm still in the stable and stuff, but I'm on my own money. I give a certain percentage, non-disclosed percentage per month, because it's different for everyone, right?
Yeah.
And, yes. So that's available as well. But just make sure you if you want to improve, add them on Discord or join their Discord. That's what they get most people to do.
Okay, yeah, I will. Yeah, I'll include links to all that in the description. So just to clarify what you're saying there, just to show that you're not just a sellout or anything like that. You've after your recent scores, you believe in the product so much that it's not just so BBZ are no longer staking you in that they're putting up the money. You're playing on your own money, but you're giving back a percentage of your profits
just to stay in the community and have access to all the stuff that I had access to while I was being staked.
Yeah. Okay.
So I still suck at poker. Like I'm still, like all you have to do is be better than, you have to suck less than, this is a quote from Jordan, all you have to do is suck less than your opponents. But we all still suck, right? So you got to keep learning. You got to keep, you got to keep it lit. Keep studying. And I'm not the best studier either. I go on about it, but like there's people in BBZ that really, really work very hard.
Yeah.
Some of the top players,
Yeah, yeah.
Jordan is just like constantly. He was telling me like before he got rich and stuff that like when he'd go to the grocery store, he'd bring a book and be reading in the line, waiting to pay for his stuff. Like, he just never stopped. It's like work ethic.
Yeah, serious work ethic. Yeah. I definitely agree. Yeah, it's all about, as I said, if you can suck less than everyone else, that is the key to poker. If you want to win at poker, be better than the people you play with, or be less worse at the people you play with. Doesn't really matter. As long as you're playing with worse players, that's all that matters.
Because a lot of people, it's like, oh, why are you playing that fucking huge tournaments, like buy-in, and you only just won that money. People going broke all the time. They're like, oh, I just want to be playing with the best. It's like, well, try and be as good as them first, or don't just go in. People like learning by playing against them, because I was all into that when I was young, 10 years ago. Thought it was great. Trying to play as high as I can, but it's not the way to go, really.
Yeah, I think there's obviously if you want to make money, that's that's definitely one part of it. And to make money, if you want to make money at poker, you definitely have to play against people worse than you. But just kind of just that balance between playing, studying, and kind of playing against better players. Like you've been a fairly kind of high volume guy throughout the years. What do you think, say, if you look at other kind of players in the stable with BBZ, do you notice there's a big difference between is there a lot of like studiers in the group, a lot of people that prefer to kind of play a lot and study a little bit? And how do you see that kind of breakdown?
Yeah, so I was high volume player and didn't study much at all. And in fact, when those BBZ seminars were on, this is a couple of years ago now. He might forgive me for this after making the money, but yeah, I'd have the BBZ seminar on in the background, kind of while I'm cooking and stuff, and I wasn't focusing fully on study, just playing a lot. And then I suppose I have to say, when I did start, or when he kind of yelled at me a bit, and I still did start putting a good bit of work in and saying, like, you have to take notes during the seminars. You can't just have it on, you know? And you have to do your own bit of study on the side. That's when you start knowing what to do every spot that comes up. You're just confident in what you should do, and then you can sway away from what you've learned. And if there's a spot, obviously, where your intuition comes into play, and you're like, oh yeah, this guy, you know, has this probably, or he's too tight to be. He never bluffs here. You know, your poker experience comes in there, but when you don't know and you've something to refer to, like study, then you just the confidence of being, well, right, this is what I should do here in this spot if I don't have information about, you know, other information about the guy. So I remember you wanted to know how many I just looked up how many tournaments I've played lifetime, and I reset one of my graphs as well, so it's actually more than this, but it's 20,000.
20,000. Okay, so you've, in around 20,000 MTTs played online lifetime.
Yeah.
Okay. So do you think
this graph is just like, and then boom, boom.
I'll share the screenshot. The screenshot of the graph.
Send the screenshot there now.
Yeah. So like there's definitely, you know, obviously there is an awful lot to be said for study, and there's a lot to be said for playing. You've kind of changed, you've switched your approach to a bit more kind of study, you know, weighted a bit more towards study than playing recently. Is that something you think you should have done earlier in your career, or what do you think?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Do you think there's anything to be said for, you know, the volume that you've played and the intuition you've built up, kind of?
Yeah, I mean, that's good. You need both. You're trying to say that you need both, right?
Well, I think you definitely need both. I think the question is where, I think it's where the balance is, and I also think what point in the kind of the learning curve, or what point in your career you're at, I think makes a big difference as well. Like, I've definitely found there's times when, you know, I've been studying a lot, times I've been playing a lot, and there's been times where, you know, I've been studying a lot and I'm kind of thinking I should be playing more. I should be trying to kind of put these things into practice and kind of learn a bit from playing. And then there's been other times when I've been playing a lot and I'm like, what the fuck do I do in this spot? And that's when I know I should probably be spending a bit more time just doing a bit more study. So yeah, what do you think about that? Like, do you think, is there, you know, certain trajectories you're on where you should study or play more?
I think the best thing to do, which is what I've done over the last few months, is just to make a balanced schedule. So like I tried to, like, 4 days a week. Well, we have the seminar, right, from 3 p.m. to 4 p.m. Irish time. So between 1 p.m. and 3 p.m., I tried to run a few sims myself. You know, do a bit of study on my own hands that I've played the previous day. Myself for 2 hours, and I might even get like someone else on call, like Lucky Mo or Come Get Happy, you know, that Gaz, although he's never awake, but you know, try to get someone else on call maybe, and try and you know, go through a few hands ourselves and have a chat and just kind of casually do it, and then attend the seminar properly, take notes, answer the questions and stuff, because they ask you to answer questions like, what would you do here? When you answer and you get it wrong, that's when you remember, you know. If you're just really watching it, it's different. But, I've trailed off a bit here. What was the question?
No,
Oh yeah, so the schedule. Yeah, so the schedule, like, do a couple of hours of study and play then as well. Just do out a balanced schedule and take a day or two off where you hang out with your friends and shit as well. Watch. I love taking Saturdays off. Watch Premiership all day, man. It's unreal these days, isn't it?
Yeah, Jesus.
See West Ham yesterday coming back 3-0 down.
Yeah, I was just about to it was about 70 minutes and I was like, all right, okay, this is done. I was just about to turn it off and I saw Gareth Bale just about to come on and I said, oh fuck it, look, I gotta stay, gotta watch a bit of Gareth Bale, and Jesus Christ, yeah, what a finish it was then, yeah.
Yeah, unreal. It's all Bale's fault, you know. They didn't bring Bale on, they wouldn't have lost.
Yeah, he comes on for 20 minutes and they concede 3 goals. You do the math, you know?
Yeah, exactly. That's the result. You can't argue with results, right?
Yeah, no, if poker's taught us anything, it's that you cannot argue with results, and results are everything. As someone with 350k in scores in the last couple of months, you can attest to, you know?
Yeah, and I was always preaching about you can't. What a poker! I swear. Well, you haven't won anything.
It's just such it's such a crazy. Your situation is definitely a big example of regression to the mean, or how the variance can kind of play out. And so do you think? Okay, so do you think you? So if I was to ask you this, I was going to say, if I asked you this question 2 months ago, I think I'd know your answer. Now that we're 2 months later at the current time, do you think you've ran above or below expectation in your opinion?
I was definitely running below EV for sure, man. They thought I was stealing money from them. I got a message from Jordan one day saying, you've got an emergency coaching session tomorrow, 2 p.m. And we went on call anyway. They were like, "Oh, we thought you were stealing money from us, man. Let's go." And he was going through all my numbers, and he was like, "Holy shit, sick! You're running bad." That's like. But then we went. He was like, "Right, let's go through a hand history." And the first hand that he came across, I just was lighting money on fire. So it's kind of a mix, I suppose. But I was definitely running bad for sure.
Yeah, like I think like
the ICM is like coming top 20 a lot, which is nothing, right?
Yeah.
When you're playing loads of tournaments in one day, so top 20 does nothing for your bankroll.
Yeah.
So the ICM, I suppose, definitely helped.
Like I think prior to these couple of scores, the first thing is I don't know how you guys do it, the online tournament players. It's just like people say it the whole time, and it's a cliche of how crazy the variance is, but I don't think people really realize what.
It's rigged.
Fucking rigged. The whole thing's fucking rigged. But yeah, it's rigged in your favor now. You've you got in touch with the right guy to flick the switch there in PartyPoker and GG.
Yeah, I got the switch flicked on Party and GG. GG, and it was never flicked off actually, but I'm only new to GG.
Okay. That's like the variance is just insane in tournaments. And as I said, you can have, you can be playing every day of the week for 5 years, and if you take 20 flips and they go the other way, that can be, that can make such.
Sometimes you would wonder, like, because it's crazy how many times you can lose as favorite in a row.
Yeah,
going insane, right?
Yeah. And it's not just, it's like, thankfully you got the first place now into the bigger tournaments recently. Like, that could easily, you could have got that run in a $32 tournament as opposed to a $300 tournament. So there's that side of the variance as well.
No, I have won a lot of tournaments. Obviously.
Yeah, I know that. Yeah. But it's just, I think the variance is just absolutely mental.
Yeah, I mean, it is sick to get the run good in those two tournaments so close.
Yeah.
together and so close after Remy told me she was pregnant.
So like yeah, prior to those two scores, what was your biggest single result?
$17,000. It was the Hot 44. It was before it was backed by BBZ.
I remember it. I remember.
Backed by another staking company that closed down. But,
well, if
yeah,
they're staking people like you, Conor, it's no surprise they shut down.
Yeah, exactly. They were unlucky. They had a load of people that robbed them, like way more than average, right?
Yeah.
So if there was a stable of like 10 people, like 4 of them ran off and robbed them.
Okay, that's pretty sick. Yeah.
Left with the makeup and took the thing. So they obviously gave up on the whole idea.
The faith in the human race. Fuck that. It's people are scumbags. Leave them off. Yeah. I know the feeling. Yeah, it's you get the so the 17K score is your biggest to date, and then you think 130 big ones with PartyPoker. So as you said, given the makeup situation and all that, it wasn't the celebration you think it might have been. When people hear you win, over 100,000, they assume you're over the moon and all that. It still obviously must have been some weight off and some stress relief. I
couldn't sleep the next day and stuff. I was delighted, and I obviously called BBZ straight away. And he was like, "What?" And he's like, "Oh, unbelievable! Sick." And he was like, "How much does the stake have?" And I was like, "Oh, 100%. I couldn't say what? 100% sick." He was so happy. And then the second time, I thought it was maybe too late for him because he has a kid and stuff. So I just sent him the screenshot of the GG score, and he rang me and he was like, "Did you just win another $250,000? You sick motherfucker! Did you just win another $250,000? You sick, you fucking bitch!" So he was fucking. Everyone was shocked. The other two guys that run the stable as well just replied, "Lol." It's like, this guy's been in because when I won the first one, you had your man Poker Luffy put in the group. This guy finally gets there, right? So everyone's like knows that I've been grinding for so long and not won anything. So everyone's like, "Oh, well deserved, finally," and stuff. But then the second one's like, "What?" It's crazy.
Like it really is. It really, really fucking is. As you said, like hearing you get the first score is incredible. It's brilliant, It's I say, for someone they've been grinding so long, so hard. The big scores eluded them, and then so say the month between. I think it was nearly exactly a month. It was like the end of August and then the September. So there's say maybe 4 Sundays in between or 4 weeks in between where you're playing. How are you feeling every day when you're waking up? Is it still just business as usual, work hard, study, play? And
definitely confidence was up. I was playing a bit higher as well, obviously, as I started to kind of they were letting me play a bit higher. W Coop was on.
Yeah, of course.
Like straight away after I won the 120, W Coop had started. And I only got a few day twos and that. It was pretty bad W Coop as usual. But fuck's sake, I run so bad. It was different. Yeah, life felt better for sure.
Yeah. What were the results like in that in between period? Was it anything notable?
Yeah, not notable. I won. I think I had a score in between. Yeah, something tiny like 5K or something. But yeah, I think I had something. I think 2 or 3K score or something.
Yeah. So then, so a few weeks past the GG tournament, it was the $100 phase, so it was like $1 million guaranteed.
It was going on. It was 2 million guaranteed, right? 2 million guaranteed,
yeah.
So it was going on for, I think it was a week or 2 weeks, but I only played one bullet.
Okay.
Right? So I was going to play one or two more, but yeah, I just played one, got through with a huge stack, and just kind of cruised to victory. Really, it wasn't like the 320 was. There was times I was down to like 5 blinds.
Yeah. Actually, yeah, I suppose actually, yeah, we didn't. I suppose we didn't break down the kind of how the actual tournament went with the 320. So you said you got through day one. You said still not very deep. So kind of into day two, coming up to the bubble, coming up to the money. Was it? Yeah. So it was a more of a roller coaster for the PartyPoker event.
Yeah. If I remember, I think I had 22 or 3 blinds going into day 3. So it's that with day 3 because I can't remember day 2.
Yeah. So yeah. So 15 left, 130k up top. You're coming in. So what? You're probably kind of 10 or 15, something in that area.
Yeah. I think it was 9 of 15.
9 of 15. So kind of 20, 25 bigs. Yeah.
Yeah. So I came in and I ran it up. It was just the guys were playing a bit too tight, so I kind of took advantage a bit of that. I was up to, I think it was 2 of 11 or 2 of 10.
Okay.
Then I ended up.
So it's all it's all real names on this as well.
Yeah.
So,
There's a few famous people there. I forget that. Don't really care. Yeah. So yeah, so I ran it up and like I was 2 of 10 at one stage. And then I think I lost like 20 blinds just trying to bluff someone. And so I went into the final table like, I think it was 6 max, man. It was 6 max, right? So the final table was 7-handed. I forgot it was 6 max. So there was 7-handed final table. So I ended up bluffing off a bit.
So you come into the final table, so 7 max.
5 of 7 or 4 of 7 or something like that.
Yeah.
And one guy has all the chips. I think he's some famous guy. He won like £1 million in January in Nottingham.
Some guys.
So I looked them all up and handed them out. So yeah, that was a PartyPoker event as well. So he's like, yeah. So he had £1 million. Yeah. So he had like, I know he had 5x what second had.
Wow. Okay.
And the rest of the players were kind of even enough, right? So it was a huge ICM spot. Like I should definitely send it to the ICM guy to review. Yeah. So yeah, and then just obviously played really tight because we're handcuffed.
Yeah.
And it's just so even when you're on 30 blinds on the final table in this kind of situation, it's still you wouldn't be trying to look at flops. You'd be just shoving.
Yeah.
Just make those 2 or 3 blinds.
Yeah.
Very important.
Was there any? Yeah, I said it sounds like doesn't sound like too exciting a situation where I said it's just one guy pounding everyone else. Was there any kind of exploits you made, or
he wasn't actually pounding us enough? He should have. I think because I remember now one hand where I opened queens and he 3-bet. And I was like, well, he's obviously just because I was like turning chips. He's obviously just putting pressure on me. I shove and he folds, and then he just didn't 3-bet me again. So I was like, all right, I can start opening a bit more here.
Yeah.
I ended up with him heads up, and
so yeah, going down as it got shorter handed. How did the chips kind of spread? We ever chip leader at any stage, or?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, 3-handed. I was. That's oh my god, I can't really remember, man. Yeah, I haven't even reviewed it. I haven't even looked over the handles.
Okay, let's go less quantitative. Let's go more, emotional. How did you feel? How was your heart pounding?
Oh, yeah.
How did you feel?
Man, I was like this for the whole final table. I didn't sit down once, did I? I was just like this, and then clicking, folding. Just I swear, I was.
You weren't grinding you weren't grinding the big 11 on the side or anything like that, no?
No, I wasn't. No, I didn't even. Yeah, I didn't play any tournaments that day.
Yeah. So it's just you're just trying to focus, trying to play as best you can, but you obviously are fairly excited.
I think the fact that I hadn't told anyone really, because that kind of gets in your head when you're deep in a tournament and you've told people and you know they're on the rail. It kind of gets in. Well, it does for me anyway. It kind of gets in my head. It's like, oh, if I fuck up here, what are they going to think and all this?
Yeah.
So I just didn't tell anyone. But one of the BBZ guys, Hold It, was actually railing me because he messaged me straight away. And he said, like, on the phone, he was like, oh, you played really well, man. I was like, hey, fucking yeah, I'm good, man. Of course I played well.
Was there, so you had the it's gas, so word didn't get out, no one else really became aware of it, or...
No one knew at all. I think he had just he looks up the lobbies, looking for BBZ players.
Yeah.
Must have just, he didn't know it was me, or he knew it was me.
I was going to say,
he thought it might not be me.
Yeah, if I saw Conor O'Driscoll at a big final table, I'd probably assume it's just some other guy. And just...
yeah, exactly. This cannot be Conor. No way.
Yeah. So then, so you were playing away. Was it? I don't know. I don't know. Does PartyPoker, does it facilitate chops or any of that, or was that a discussion at any point? Or
well, I never chop. So
okay. Why don't you chop?
Because I'm better than everyone. No, because you're not going to get the opportunity to play with no one's ever going to say, hey man, do you want to play for 20k heads up, and you have an edge in them. So these opportunities come along. BBZ told us not to chop. Like
that's fair. Yeah.
We do more work than other people,
I think that's fair enough. Yeah, I think definitely from BBZ's point of view, I can definitely understand this for them, because hopefully they have enough kind of they'll have enough players to kind of ride out the variance a bit. But at the same time, for the individual player, I can still definitely sympathize if someone wants to give up like a couple of thousand in equity just to kind of guarantee themselves a bit of a bigger chunk. But I think each their own.
Go for the win.
Yeah. I think it's
don't look at when the prizes come out on the screen in a live tournament. You don't look at first prize and go, oh, I can't wait, I'd love to chop that now.
I just look at the min cash and I'm just thinking, it's like, okay,
hopefully
start stalling now and we'll try and fold into the money, and then sure, whatever else happens. So
I remember stall because most of my volume's online, right? I remember stalling in a live tournament way too early, and my mate Sweeney was on the table and he asked me at the break. He was like, "What you have there?" I was like, "Oh, I was just stalling because it's 10 off the money." And he's like, "What? That's like loads live. That's like fucking that's a couple of hours there."
Yeah.
I was like, "Oh right,
yeah. I think this is definitely the EV game by what's that?
You just coughed at the say. You triggered my cough.
Sorry about that. I have a mute here I can press as well. So now.
No, I'm not. I'm just.
The EV of stalling. The EV of stalling definitely isn't the sexiest part of the game, for sure. Yeah, and then live, it's
you got people giving you the dirty looks.
I know it's such a
speaking of dirty looks. Sorry, can I tell you?
No, I want to hear this. Speaking of dirty looks, I want to hear this. Go on.
So today I was going to meet Raymond Shepherd's Bush, which is like it's like 10 stops on the bus, right? And I was on the bus anyway, and this older gentleman was sitting beside me, and so when it came up, Shepherd's Bush came up on the screen, I like pressed the stop button, and he was like, And I kind of looked at him like, what? He's like, sure, it's not going any further than that. Why would you press the bell? It's like, sure, I don't know. I didn't know. Like, it's like I'm an idiot for not knowing something that no one ever told me, you know?
Yeah, these life
So, yeah, I asked on
episodes.
this London. Oh,
Yeah, these life tilting situations. So that guy just needs a bit more awareness or empathy of, I can
yeah.
see it from his point of view. He's like, this fucking guy, why is he fucking pressing this button here? He knows it stops, and if he doesn't, he should know it stops.
I have another example. I was in Manchester, right? And in Manchester, so in London, you go in and you can tap your phone or your card, your bank card or Oyster or anything, right? And you just keep walking. But in Manchester, you have to buy a ticket, right? And I was like, oh, where do I tap my card? And he was like, you have to buy a ticket. And he was like really pissed off. I didn't know. Like, I'm clearly a tourist. I have an Irish accent. I'm like, man, just help me.
Yeah, I
do not know.
I've kind of gotten over it, I think, in Joe, the more I've kind of matured and gotten a bit older. But yeah, getting public transport in foreign countries was something I always was afraid of, because I was like, oh God, what if like that example, what if I try to pay and they look at me and they're like, you need a fucking card, we can't accept money, and I'm like, oh my God, and then I'm just mortified, and then what do you do then? It's
never travel again.
Yes, it's fine. I'll pay £50 and get a taxi to bring me where I want to go. It's better than facing the alternative of some random person on public transport giving you a dirty look.
Yeah. It's ridiculous. People just like expect you to know everything that's in their brain has to be in your brain as well, or else you're a fucking idiot.
This is something I was just about to bring us full circle there, Conor, and bring this back to poker. Do you think poker is something that actually improves with this way of thinking? It's something I've thought about before, where I think at the poker table you're constantly aware of how other people perceive things. So when I see someone in everyday life do something, I'm not thinking about it from my perspective. I'm generally trying to think about it from their perspective, because I think poker just definitely kind of trains you to think that way, which I think is actually a good way of thinking, because it's more accurate. Like,
so go back to what we said before. Everyone sucks, right? So if you shouldn't care what the people at the table are thinking, because they probably suck more than you suck at this stage. But I used to, that's how I learned coming in at the start of when I was playing poker. I just listened to everyone else at the table. Just started doing what they were saying. And like, if I made a mistake in their eyes, I'd rectify it the next time and just there.
You have to be careful, I guess, with that. Make sure you're listening to the right people. But
exactly, thinking back, I was definitely some people didn't have a clue.
I think it's quite funny, that way of kind of thinking as well. You see it a lot in live poker, where first of all, you should not be talking strategy at the table. People should not be talking strategy at the table or any of that. I know it's fun sometimes, but it's like, talking any kind of in-depth strategy, I don't think is a good idea for a number of reasons. First, making people better, like yourself, Joe, being one example. But I think as well, sometimes it can kind of alienate people and it doesn't make for a great conversation. But I think even if you don't discuss it, I think you'll find now with live poker, you see a lot of whatever recreational players or people who don't spend a lot of time studying. You see them now, for example, a dry flop comes out and they see bet like, a quarter pot. And that's just from seeing everyone else do it. So it's kind of like people pick up on things and definitely learn quite.
But they sometimes they do it the wrong way. Like the check, call, flop, lead, turn. That play, that people do that wrong so much. It's hilarious, and it's just like, I just want to say, that's so wrong. What are you doing?
I think you definitely see that a lot with it's kind of like, I can see what you're thinking, but no, where it's like you can kind of see where, so, and look, I make plenty of mistakes myself in kind of in different ways as well, I'm sure. So I think that the principle is the same for all players of any kind of skill level, where a lot of those people, like, they're making a play for a certain reason, and you can kind of see what they're thinking or why they're doing it, but it's often like, the wrong spot to be doing it. So so for example, they kind of the c betting small, they might be doing that in like the completely wrong board texture, or, the check calling and leading the turn. They have some reasons for it, but it's like they don't really understand the depth of why they should be doing it, and that leads to them doing it for the wrong reasons.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And that's yeah, you can make a mistake in learning if the learning as you go a long way live, of seeing someone who looks like he's a good player, and he ruffles his chips perfectly, and he's got the headphones on and he seems really good, but he's making huge mistakes, and then you're copying, you're emulating those mistakes because you perceive him to be good.
Yeah.
But it's better to hit the books really, and just learn properly.
Yeah, that's why I think at the end of the day, for anything you do, kind of learning from first principles is always the ideal kind of way. Like you see that with training videos as well, where a guy can be doing a certain thing or explain in a certain way, and you assume he's pretty good, but he might not be. The joy with working with solvers, or just the maths of it, is at least you're figuring out why you do a certain thing.
Or even training videos you trust, like what's that Phil Golfon site? They're always Run It Once, that's like 200 quid a month, and like they're all probably vetted. They're properly vetted pro on those training videos.
Yeah, and that's what you're paying for, I think.
Of course, BBZPoker.com. Head over now.
In fairness, Conor, you didn't mention I don't think you didn't mention it. Didn't mention the Galfon site by name. So whatever that site is, we won't mention it. So BBZPoker.com. Thanks to our sponsors, BBZ Poker, for sponsoring this podcast. We'll give you details later on in the video how you can win videos, and if you want to be like Conor and win 300k in a month, check out those videos.
I don't say that. You're not going to win 300k in a month, more than likely.
I'd like to think my listenership is educated enough to know that that's not the way things work. But look, maybe we need a wider listener.
Some kid out there is going to fucking give up college and drop out. And Jamie Flint and Conor O'Driscoll told me I could win 300k in a month if I watched this video.
Lads, don't do it, lads. Don't do it. No, BBZPoker.com.
Give up poker. Forget it altogether. Really.
Get a real job. Be productive. Do something useful with society, all right? Forget this fucking poker malarkey, all right? But if you want to improve your game and get a bit better at the game, BBZPoker.com. There's my pitch. So Conor, so you win the you bust this pro, you bust this guy heads up, you win 130k. You're you're maybe not on cloud 9, but you're on cloud 8. You're happy enough. A month passes.
I'd say I was on cloud 9, definitely.
Oh no, okay, good. So month later, you're playing this.
Back in cloud 8 or 7 a month later.
Yeah. the real world setting is another small bit. So the GGPoker, that was a 2-day event, I assume, is it?
It was a phase. So day 2, phase 2 was the Sunday.
Yeah.
And phase 1 was like every 4 or 5 per day for like a week or 2 weeks. Could have been 2 weeks even.
Yeah, I must have a look. I got through to day 2 myself as well. I got a cash there somewhere, so I contributed in a small way to your
that overlaid as well. That was they had like a 250k overlay.
Maybe it was the week. Maybe it was the week. This is every week they have it, isn't it? I think it's
no, but this one was 2 million guaranteed.
Okay.
Every week is 1 million.
Yeah. So okay.
This is a 2 million.
So you go into the how many's left in the final day?
I think it's around 1,000, or it could be 2,000. Man.
Yeah. So long way to go.
These questions.
We'll go back. Don't worry. I'll bring it back to how you felt in your emotional state, and we won't get bogged down with the details of it.
Fuck, am I meant to know?
So
2017 players were left.
Yeah, 2017 players. So you're playing your 23 tabling on your 12,000 euro computer setup in your London penthouse, and you you get down to. So when does the money start getting serious? When do you start getting a bit like, oh my god, this could get
when the rest of that makeup was about to be cleared? So that was so I was in the 20k on the main makeup was still left, right?
Yeah.
So there was I think 7th or 6th was like 26k or something along those lines. So then when it was like 33k for 5th or whatever it was, I was happy out. I was like, nice, I'm going, I've cleared all my makeup now. And
so it's basically you're sitting at home, and you basically realize with 6 or 7 left or whatever, you are now.
I wasn't sitting again, I was fucking
you're just thinking you're officially out of makeup now. So this thing that's been kind of hanging over for however long, you're now out of makeup, and every pay jump from here is money in your back.
Money for me,
yeah. Well, how's that feel?
To be honest, man, and even with the WPT, I was really focused on the play, and I was really focused. I really thought I was going to win. I was like, these guys. I feel I'm better than them for sure. The GG one now had an absolute lunatic on the table with 4 left. He ended up getting in like 60 blinds with ace jack off or something like that. It was like we had one of them with 4 left. He ended up coming third, and then both heads ups were really quick because I already had a big chip lead, and I just ended up getting a good hand both times versus a worse hand.
Yeah.
So both heads ups were really quick and painless.
Yeah.
Heads up can be really fucking painful. You can grind the guy down, and then he like wins a flip or something. I'll have to start again here now. What time is it? Tired, but my most recent score was like that. The heads up went on for like an hour and a half or something.
How big was that score?
The one I said, the 5k one.
Yeah.
The mere 5k.
Yeah.
That's my first own dime score. I was really happy with it. I went for a jog. I went on a victory lap after.
That's good. Yeah.
I went for a jog because I couldn't sleep.
Yeah. So you bink the so what was that 200 and 220k.
228 and 122. It's exactly 350.
To about 350. Exactly 350.
122,000 to 228,000.
Yeah, about 350.
It's exactly 350. Exactly.
Conor may not be getting the reference now, ladies and gentlemen.
Let me tell the damn story now. He said 350.
I'll throw in those.
Is it South Park? Yeah.
South Park, about 350.
I just bought and this is ridiculous actually. I just bought on Amazon Prime. You can buy season 23 of South Park for like 15 quid, which is way better value than buying the Leicester. What was the game yesterday you had to buy?
Oh yeah, £15. Yeah. Actually, in Ireland, we had it on our Setanta Sports or whatever Setanta Sports is called now. So we were actually okay.
Oh really?
Yeah. Over in the UK, yeah.
Leicester Aston Villa, if you want to watch it, 15 quid.
Yeah. yeah.
Where does that money go? Because you're paying 60 quid for Sky Sports anyway, right?
Yeah.
Now,
Now,
club, is it because they don't have the fans in, or is it going to Sky?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I haven't looked into it, but I think it's something like that. Yeah, they've justified it in some way. But
Even here, the commentators advertising this, they're not really enthusiastic. They're like, you can buy.
I've noticed that they stay quite quiet after it because I think they know they can't credibly, really push it, but they can't denounce it either. They can't be like, "Fuck
You have
that."
to
So
announce it.
just have to stay quiet with it. So your newfound wealth now, other than season 23 of South Park. So as well is So I said you win the 350. Nice. Let's see.
Just get it the right way around for the camera.
Very nice. Very nice.
Yeah, it's a lovely thing. I got a coat. I bought a few things here and there, but nothing crazy.
Yeah.
I want to get a car for when the baby's knocking about.
Yeah. So I think this story is crazy enough in itself, in just, a long time grinder, biggest score of 17K, Binks 130K to almost get out of makeup, and then Binks 220K to completely clear the makeup, have money in his back pocket, finally all the years of hard work coming to fruition. But then when you add in this whole baby narrative of literally you're told a baby's on the way, and a month, just over a month, you get these scores. It really is just like it's unbelievable. Like
yeah.
So the narrative is just incredible, and it as the cliche goes, you couldn't write it. But so I suppose what's the feeling now? I suppose you've a lot to kind of think about now since this score. So I assume when was your first session after the second score?
So yeah, I slept for about, after the second score, I slept for about 2 or 3 hours, and I woke up and there's no one really in London. Kieran had work, or so people that I know in London had work. There's no one to go drinking with. So I went to the casino to play some 2-5 and get drunk in there.
A few hours after the score?
No, I had a bit of a kip. I had a sleep.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, and then I woke up, obviously, then remembered that I'd won the money, and obviously wanted to go drink. And my housemate is a music producer, so I think he had a session, he couldn't come, and the other one has work as well. He's like a cyber security expert, works from home as well, so they refused to come for a drink. And then I was just like, right, I'm going to casino, and the 2-5 runs from like 11 a.m. these days because everything closes at 10 p.m.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, the 2-5 runs at like midday. So I just tried to encourage as many people on the table to drink as I could. That I'd pay for all the drinks and everything. And
yeah,
I got 2 of them to have a few drinks anyway. But obviously it wasn't as good as if there was no lockdown. I'd just get everyone I know, or just go somewhere, have a party or whatever. I'd end up spending loads of money probably. Actually, it's a blessing, really.
Yeah.
I've had the best pandemic ever.
They've all worked out. Yeah.
My heart goes out to people that are struggling, though. It's horrible, I'd say. Like losing work and stuff must be pretty bad. And if you're a small business owner, that must be the worst spot, right?
Yeah.
You have
definitely the ones I sympathize with the most. Yeah.
It's
pretty. It's a pretty sick time. I said definitely. I know it's a small bit different in the UK, but in Ireland now it's just Jesus Christ, trying to run a small business.
What tier of lockdown are you in now? In like tier 3 or 4.
We're in level 3 at the moment, and as we're recording this podcast, they may have announced an upgrade to level 4 or 5. I'm not sure, but level 3 at the moment, and rumors and talk about the MPHGT or whatever it's called. They've recommended level 5, so yeah, looking like it could go to level 5, and then then it's I said, if you're a small business owner, that's pretty difficult to deal with that.
Wales has gone into full level 5 lockdown as of Friday. It will be as of Friday. They announced today. So Wales is, Manchester is looking at level 4. I think London, I don't think they can afford it, to be honest.
Yeah.
I really don't think they can afford it here.
Yeah.
Risk it, right? So basically, if you're vulnerable, get out of London.
Yeah. It makes sense. Yeah. Has there been any? Have you had any opportunities to celebrate in London or
get COVID? Any opportunities to what?
Any opportunities to celebrate in London? Is it a bit more?
Yeah. So if you want to piss up, I definitely recommend coming to London. There's definitely.
Give Conor a call, lads. If you're heading over to London, give Conor a shot. He's mad for a few drinks.
I did. I got a crowd going after the. So we've a fella I met in the casino. When I first moved here, told me about this trip to Romania, where you don't have to pay for accommodation or food or drink for the whole weekend. All you have to do is play 4 hours of cash per day that you stay there. So that ended up being like 12 hours of cash, and you could play it all on the first day, right?
Yeah.
So I had a little holiday to Romania, and I met this guy who was friends with the guy who told me, called Big Mike, and he lives in London. So I got him, Daniel's 2 brothers. His second brother came back from Australia, and my godmother's son lives here as well. So I was just trying to get whoever I knew that lives in London, just got them all together. So it ended up being like 5 or 6 of us in a pub after the WPT score. But yeah, that was when everyone thought lockdown was kind of finishing up. They were talking about getting crowds back into games and stuff. So it was very lax then, all right.
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely changed. Changed very quickly. This whole the whole lockdown. The idea of what lockdown is like. So it's do you feel is there any part of you that look, you can't be too disappointed, but is there any part of you that is just mad for a big celebration, a big party, or
not really, no. Well, I'd love to go to a live tournament and meet everyone.
Have everyone congratulate you and tell you how great you are and stuff.
And
like, hey, Conor, buddy.
Oh, there's Conor O'Driscoll. Can I get an interview?
Exactly, yeah.
But something like Irish Open now would be unreal. I'd love to go there and just be drunk the whole time, playing the main event and every side event, just being constantly drunk. Because there's nothing more fun than drunk poker, is there?
No, I
highly recommend it.
I said that was definitely I think we can all agree the biggest tragedy of this whole COVID thing is no Irish Open this year. It's a real shame of all the bad things.
I went deep in that, actually, the online version. Silage came fucking nice.
Yeah, final table it, didn't he?
Yeah, Sean Conroy. Yeah, you should get Frank on this as well, man. He had 2 huge scores.
Did he?
Yeah, on Party, man. He won like, I think 66K, and then a week later won like 100K or something.
Oh wow, okay. I didn't know that.
It was like a big buy. It was the big game. He got in he played a few 530s into the 5K. This is what I'm talking about. Fucking playing way too high, like.
I think, yeah.
No, but it worked for him this time. And so he had a couple of huge scores. It'd be worth getting him on.
Yeah.
for a chat.
Yeah, Frank is the
Or
true
Con-
hero, though. I think he's the man. I said that. Yeah, I wouldn't expect any different of Frank to bink it in a 5K tournament. That's the way to do it. It's yeah, the by all means, I'm open to suggestions on any podcast guests. We took for all my loyal fans out there, we took a bit of a break there for a few months, but yeah, the plan is to
260 something subscribers. Is it?
200 close. Let's just say three figure subscribers. So let's just leave it at that. But yeah, we're hoping.
What was your? Sorry, I'm interrupting something there. Go on.
No, it's okay. It's only.
What was your first kind of poker game? The kind of like when you were real. When did you start
playing poker?
Yeah.
Finally.
Play with your family at
Finally,
Christmas?
someone's interviewing me. This is the whole reason I started the podcast. I just want people to interview me. You know, the first time I ever played poker, or the first kind of serious game.
I don't know. The first time you won like money, that kind of. I don't know. Whatever way you want to answer it.
The first time I played live cash at the Irish Open was 2007.
But you were at the Irish Open, so you must have played.
No, didn't play any tournaments because I wasn't allowed.
No, but why were you at the Irish Open? I'm talking about like way before that. Did you start playing with friends or?
Yeah,
you didn't just wake up one day and see an ad for the Irish Open and go.
I would have played chess when I was younger, so it would have been with
right, yeah.
playing poker, and that very, very, very quickly degenerated into playing a lot more poker. So that definitely would have been my start in the game, yeah. Then yeah, just one thing led to another, I think. Yeah. How about you? Actually, usually my first question in these kind of podcasts are usually, how did you get started in the game? And we kind of brushed over it with yourself, given the recent success. But yeah,
that's why I asked you the question, because I want to.
Yeah, what's the Conor O'Driscoll origin story?
Yes, I played in school. So we played in school in like fifth year, and started like end of fifth year, and throughout sixth year just playing fiver rebuys and fiver tournaments in school. And do you know where the Vic is in Limerick?
Yeah.
Snooker club, right? So they had like this. They had tournaments every night, but the one tournament we could afford was a €5 registration fee and €10 rebuy. So we'd go down like 4 or 5 of us. One might only have a fiver, another 15 quid. And then, as the more we got into it, you bring like 25 quid for 2 rebuys, Yeah. I ended up coming third in the tournament in the Vic for 200 quid. And I thought it was great. And my friend Tom, Thomas Moynihan, I think you've known him through poker, yeah?
Yeah,
so he waited. I think we had school the next day and everything. He waited all night. My dad ringing me, like, "Where are you? You've school tomorrow or whatever." But we must have been kind of oldish enough, because he waited all night to give me a lift home. Yeah, and he hasn't let it down to this day. But I bought him a pack of chewing gum in the shop on the way home, and he's been so pissed off about it since. It's like, that's all. You think I put 20 quid into his the petrol for I wouldn't mind giving it to him, obviously, but I don't know, it just must have slipped my mind, or I thought the chewing gum might have been enough, maybe. Like he was probably hinting at me, I'll just pull in here now, get a bit of petrol, right? Oh yeah,
I'm sure,
want some chewing gum.
The petrol on the drive home, yeah, chances are he didn't need to pull in for petrol, but
yeah. I should have I used to be able to get hints back in the day, to be honest.
You were a dealer then for a while, so you went to college in Galway.
You
were a dealer then in the lovely Eglinton Casino.
Yeah, but so I thought it was great then, winning 200 quid. And just went around like being an absolute dickhead, fucking pushing people over in the street in wheelchairs, and but,
shout out to all our wheelchair listeners.
But yeah, so what happened then? So that's school. Went to college in Cork, and then there was this thing that I heard: if you drop out before a month, you don't have to pay the fees for next year. And I was like, oh, I'll do that. Went to work in Dell, making loads of money in Dell. Probably blasted it all off playing poker, pretty much. Then I went to college in Galway. Now in Galway, the lads I lived with and hung around with really loved poker as well. So we started going to casinos then, yeah. And I remember one night I just couldn't lose a hand. I was up like 1,700 quid, and I bought in for 50, I think, or something. That's what we used to buy in for. That's the min buying, right? In those cash games. You see students doing it now.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you're up to 1,700, and just like, oh, unreal. And yeah, I just probably played way too much in the Eglinton and the Four Aces in Galway. Should have been out, socializing a bit more, but I just loved the game so much. Even on a night out with the lads, we'd be looking at the clock, looking at the time, waiting for closing in the club so I can go to the casino,
Yeah.
Or sometimes I just leave anyway and go. But
yeah. How serious how serious were you taking the game then? Was it you just loved the game? Were you trying?
No, I just back then it's just I didn't give a shit about the money at all. Obviously, I was 19 or whatever, 20, and just yeah, I just loved the game. I loved playing. I loved being there. I loved just being dealt the cards, everything.
Yeah. And
yeah, I became quite known in the Eglinton, and then I got a job dealing. Obviously, became way more known then. And yeah, and then when I finally graduated college, got a 2-1, and I won a tournament in the Eglinton for like 5K, which was huge for me then. And then you had that full tilt tent that summer. The summer I graduated college was the full tilt tent, yeah?
Yeah.
Full tilt, PokerStars bought the full tilt. They had this tent and played that 1K, bought in like once or twice. Just ended up broke anyway. And Frank had this, was staked by the poker backers, they were called TPB. And he was like, oh yeah, I'll get you in there. I'll get you in touch with them anyway. And then they saw my shark scope and I had won. They were happy enough, looked through my hand history. So I started getting staked pretty much straight after college. And it's been, I did quite well. 2016 was really good. Then we went to LA for a while. And then, the rest is just kind of the same old story over a longer period of time. Just not getting to Vegas last summer was ridiculous. I won't go into details, but so I went to Vietnam with Frank and Silage, and then came here, met this lovely girl, and I've been here since.
Okay.
Oh, and I didn't need to skip Laura as well. I lived with Laura in Cork for ages. She's a lovely girl. She's a teacher down there.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's just so it's pretty much like since graduating college, it's been poker though. It's poker full time. It's just
poker. Yeah, absolutely. There's nothing else. And obviously people would advise you to try. Maybe you should get a proper job at the moment. Especially Laura, she'd try and sneak it into a few conversations the odd time. Oh, maybe you should just get some part-time work. Like, no, I'm gonna make it. Never give up.
Do you feel vindicated now, or or is it just did you ever?
Yeah, I do. Because my mother was against it as well. Sorry, I keep interrupting you.
No, it's okay. No, I was just gonna say, yeah. Did you ever have any doubt that it was going to happen?
Oh, of course, you're gonna have doubt all the time, right?
Yeah, well, some people, yeah, like I think most people do.
Yeah, everyone's the same, and no one, everyone has doubt, everyone has anxiety. That's the thing about people. Like, that was in South Park the other day, when I was watching it on South Park. It was about anxiety, and people say that they have anxiety, and it's like, get real, man. Everyone has anxiety. Everyone has it.
Yeah, absolutely.
True, right?
Yeah, definitely. In every way, shape, or form, whatever your life is like. Yeah, everyone has doubts, anxiety, stress, whatever you want to call it. Because I know there's certain labels you can attach to certain things, but like it was in the Mental Game of Poker, which is an excellent book, by the way. I'd recommend it to anyone to read, not just poker players. But there's a line in that explains where anxiety comes from. And it's just, the root of anxiety is uncertainty. And I remember when I read that, it just kind of clicked a lot. And you talk then, there's uncertainty in everything in life. But when you apply that to a poker player's life, like it's just it's a question of learning to live with the anxiety or learning to manage it, because there's so much uncertainty. It's impossible to avoid it. So it's just a question of learning to manage it and live with it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and that's why I'm glad. Well, I'm not glad. I would have obviously preferred an easier road, but I'm glad in one way that I got these scores at this stage in my life, where I know that I'm gonna look after my money, which I have been doing before this even. And I've got people around me in BBZ that have advised me well, and just that I'm, if I'd won this 10 years ago or even 5 years ago, we probably wouldn't have it anymore. But I can tell you for a fact that I'm in 5 years' time, I won't have blown it.
Yeah,
just because I'm wiser.
Yeah.
Especially going broke, because knowing how it feels to be completely broke and asking for small loans to pay rent and stuff is just a horrible feeling, right?
Yeah.
So, you just never want to be in that spot again.
Yeah.
So fuck going playing the high tournaments with all the famous players and stuff. Just it's not worth the feeling of being broke.
Yeah. I think that's great advice. Yeah. I think the idea of
I have to go for this really badly, man. That's right. So I just finished up about the advice about being broke, and then you were about to get into what you were going to say.
Yeah, I think it's when you have those two perspectives, it's so powerful, and it kind of goes for everything. But I think you see it. The most obvious example is when people are young, when they're too young to know any different. As you say, Joe, they're a kid, they're living whatever with their parents, or what's that?
Naive.
Yeah, and it's just like naive, don't know any better, don't. I think you've the naivety of how to manage money, but you've also what you touched on there of just that feeling of like, Joe, not knowing what it's like to be broke or what it's like to be struggling, or and when you kind of gain that perspective, it's a whole different ball game. And as you said, now that you have that experience, chances are it's going to stand to you, and you're going to know how to manage the money. And that's like
that's not something that you can be taught either. You can't read somewhere. It won't affect you as much because you're going to be like, right, well, you're never going to, you need the feeling.
Yeah.
So it's not.
That the theoretical idea, because people are like, yeah, well, obviously, John, nobody means to fucking go broke. It's like you see these sports stars, multi-millionaires, and they go broke, and people wonder how it can happen. And like, it's very, I can definitely understand how it can happen. One, you have a person who you know, as probably being a superstar since they've been a teenager. They've been on the upward trajectory. And then, you know, so it's very easy to, if you don't know how to manage your money, bad things can happen. And then 2, you bring in a mixture of bad decision making and addiction. And it's very easy to, you know, for the money to disappear. So I think like what you're touching on is definitely, it definitely shows the, like, I always like to differentiate between being good at playing poker and being a good poker player.
Good at making money. Frank's backers said that to him before. Frank, you're really good at poker, but you're really bad at making money.
Yeah.
It is. Remember, we're in LA and we're trying to buy. He was playing like a 1650.
Yeah.
We're trying to buy pieces off him, and he's like, no way.
Yeah.
He only had about $7,000. Like.
Yeah. What you mentioned earlier of him getting the touch in the 5K buy-in. That's what I was thinking of. It was in LA he'd gotten a touch online, and I was like something like had 7 or 8K and was playing like a 1600s or 1650, and just like trying to, you know, like I'll take a piece of it if you want. He's like, nah. It's kind of like Josh. It's like, what, you know, I think, and like,
I think he'd hate he'd prefer to lose the money than win the tournament and have to give away half the money.
Yeah, and I think it's I think
a mental thing while he's playing as well. He doesn't want to have to play a certain way because he's other people are invested in him. I think it's more that. It's more that. Yeah, he'd be delighted to win, actually.
Yeah, the pressure of having people invested in. Yeah, I think that approach though is I think that's something as well. The older you get, the less. So it's all about kind of risk of ruin, I think. And it's like if you're young and you don't really have any responsibilities. So if I was to buy 10% of him, or in a 1600, say I give him $200, whatever markup that is for 10%. The difference between having an extra $200 in his pocket or not probably isn't that important. Whereas if he wins the fucking thing and wins 100K, he's kind of like, well, I don't want to give away 10K of this. So it's like, I think the less money you have, the more inclined you should be to take shots. But then the more money you have and the older you are, I think it's more about kind of managing it and managing the risk of ruin a bit better.
Yeah. Risk of ruin. Yeah. I'm not familiar with that phrase. I can understand what it means.
It's just avoiding, like, I'll put it for you right now. If you were to wake up tomorrow broke, that'd be a pretty big disaster. Whereas, like, if you go back to your days in Galway, if you were to wake up broke, then it's kind of like.
Which I did. I won huge. I went broke. Yeah, I won like 5K in Galway and went broke, and the feeling's horrible.
Yeah.
No, I can only imagine, 20 times that.
Yeah. It's to do with your.
It would go slowly, right? You're not going to put 100K on one bet, so every day is going to be. I'd say it's the exact same feeling as going broke off a 5 or 10K roll than it is, because it's going to be slower. You come to terms with each time it's lower, right?
Yeah.
Although, so you wouldn't notice if you're constantly playing, you wouldn't notice it go from 100 to 50K, 100K to 50, and you probably still wouldn't notice much 50 to 20. But then, if you go broke, then it's like, whoa, I had 100K.
I think it depends. Joe, it's very kind of hypothetical or whatever. I think it depends. It depends on the circumstances. Like, Joe, like, you can just fucking punt, or you can get stuck into sports betting or roulette, or there's that kind of stuff. But it's not too dissimilar to a tournament, though. It's like, that's the final 10.
We've got some it's like we've got an excuse. Like you'd never. I have no problem playing a 1K tournament, but I would never put $1,000 on a sports bet because it's, that's a big gamble or whatever. But it's like we have some sort of excuse that it's okay to play a 1K tournament.
Yeah, every Sunday, if I lose like €50 on like some soccer match that I know I'm probably not plus EV betting on, I'm like really annoyed at myself. I'm like, I just shouldn't have done that. But then if I punt like, like a few €100, just punt off a stack in some tournament, I'm just going, oh well, that's just, sometimes that's going to happen, sometimes that's going to happen. But it's like it takes up a different section of my brain, even though like the amount is even more in the punt, but it's more justified because you're just like, look, it's
Speaking of sports betting, man, there was a bet the other day that Tom put in our fantasy football league group that was like really tempting. I ended up putting like 200 quid on it, but Arsenal +2 against City was 4-7. So 7 to +2 against City, who don't have De Bruyne, and at the time we didn't know Aguero was coming back as well. That was kind of sneaky.
Yeah.
And Sterling was a kind of a question mark as well. Arsenal +2, so they have to lose by 3 goals to lose or 2 goals, is it? Because the draw.
If they lose by 1, you win the bet. If they lose by 2, you lose the bet.
Oh, really?
Plus 2.5. They was plus 2.5.
No, it's +2. Yeah. So if they lose by 2, you lose the bet.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe it wasn't that good. So.
Yeah. Well, you won the bet, so obviously it was a good decision. So.
Yeah, great decision. But Arsenal were like 6-1. Like if they didn't have Aguero and Sterling, man. What was it? 1-0. Yeah, Sterling scored.
Yeah. I've been doing well at the sports betting this season, so I obviously think now I'm a bit of a god at the sports betting. I don't like, again, don't listen to anything I say. It's like I don't know what I'm doing, but I don't
lose your money. His name is Jamie Flynn, and he lives.
So don't, this is not financial advice. Unlike my advice earlier, join BBZPoker.com. Best decision you'll ever make. You want to improve your poker game? BBZPoker.com. I personally don't like the handicap bets, because I hate when a team isn't incentivized to do your bet. So with like the +2, so it's like if Arsenal are like in that +2, actually it's kind of okay.
Yeah, Arsenal are incentivized to win. Or get the draw.
Yeah. In a +2 situation, it's actually okay. But just like if it's 2-0, like Arsenal are still going to score, are still going to be trying to score. So it doesn't.
A great example of what you're about to say is Champions League, like 2 legs, right? And one team is like already through or whatever.
Yeah. Pretty
much.
Or if you've any team -1, Joe, if it's the 80th minute.
They're going to put on a defender,
or they're going to like play a short corner. So that's kind of, I generally don't like those bets.
Lampard out or?
No, Lampard in. Yeah, I think Lampard has all the ingredients to be a top manager. I think it'll take a bit of time, but I have faith in him now. I think he's got
the IQ, but he doesn't have the EQ. There's such thing as the EQ, emotional quantity.
Yeah, that's where I don't know, but I think he respects that side of the game enough. Like you look at the teams he played in as a player, I think he should have a good. He played in a lot of the teams he played in had pretty high EQ, I'd argue. So I'd like to think he'll be bringing a lot of that, and he should be decent at it. But I don't know. I remember seeing him when he was the Derby manager. He seemed to have a good rapport with the players and seemed to be good kind of squads there. So
that's Klopp's fucking secret, man. He just gets on with it.
Yeah. They've brilliant. Klopp has excellent the mental preparation. I don't know what to call. I don't want to use like the cliche terms, or whatever, but the mental game is really strong with Liverpool. It's just like, even you saw it after they lost to Villa. He was basically just like, just like, look, it's happened, and now we move on. And it's easy to say that, and you see, like, whereas you compare that, like when United have a bad result, and it's just like the whole world is like falling in on top of them. But you kind of have to believe it.
Oh, the difference between United on Saturday, the difference between when it was 1-1 and when they got the 2-1, the difference in their bodies just lifted, and the confidence. And Fernandes was playing shit before he scored that winner, that second goal. He just made mistakes all the time, and like confidence that's anxiety. They all had anxiety that day, right? Then the confidence is like the opposite to anxiety, I suppose. And it really is powerful, right? You can bring that to everything.
Well, I think like if you apply that though to poker, I think the ideal scenario is where you don't. I know.
Premier League podcast, man. What do you want about?
I like to joke because poker is a big part of my life, so it's that's how I view a lot of things. But if you compare it to poker, I think the ideal scenario when you're playing poker is that whether you're confident or anxious, or ideally you want to be in a position where it doesn't really affect you. You have that solid base where it doesn't affect you too much. And I think if you look at Liverpool, an absolute disaster can happen, like losing 7-2 against Villa, but it doesn't affect the core feeling or whatever. Whereas then United are just an absolute victim of the results. And as we know at poker, the results don't always tell the whole story. So it's like with United, they lose the first game of the season, and then they they lose against Spurs, and it's like an absolute train wreck, and everyone's like, everyone's stressed, everyone's anxious, no one's happy. Whereas it's
Maguire should fucking, we need to get rid of Maguire, innit? I'm a United fan, by the way.
I thought you were an Arsenal fan.
No,
you just go to Arsenal games.
Yeah, because fucking Daniel. Do you want to go to this Arsenal game? Or he's not English, but want to go to the Stars?
I'll have it. I want it stated on the record. He is English, I believe. If the Hendon Mob is anything to go by, he's English.
No, he is. No, he is English, but he doesn't have an English accent. I was doing an English accent there, but he'd say, "Oh, do you want to go to this game?" And I'm like, "No, I don't want to go." And then like a few hours later, he was like, "Right, I bought these 2 tickets for the game. We're going on Saturday." He's like, "Don't worry about it. You don't have to pay for it or anything." I'm like, "Yeah, grand." Yeah, but I enjoy it. Obviously, going to a Premier League game is unreal anyway, right?
Yeah, that's why I'm happy to not be a fan really of any team, because I love going to match it. It doesn't matter if I nearly prefer going to a game as a fan is cool, because it's kind of like you have that emotional kind of attachment. But I really enjoy just going to any game, even just watching it, what it is, because it's class.
Spurs. I've been to Spurs a few times because they were playing in Wembley, so the tickets were really cheap before they built the stadium. So we went to a few Spurs games, and we saw that unreal goal from Son, where he ran the pitch against Chelsea. Not the one, not the most recent unreal one last season, the one before. He ran the pitch against Chelsea, and we saw that live, and it's class.
Yeah.
With 2 Arsenal fans, even they were fucking standing up celebrating.
Yeah,
Son is unreal.
Yeah, unbelievable. I went to Everton to Goodison Park last Christmas, 2 Christmases ago.
I have money on Everton to win the league, actually.
What price?
20-1.
20-1. Van Dijk being injured that's
huge.
It blows the league wide open, but Van Dijk being injured is a big thing. So you were saying earlier about how
you were going to Goodison Park.
I was what I was saying. I saw Spurs play at Goodison Park when they won 6-2. So got to see saw Kane and Son that day, and I agree. Yeah, absolutely.
Kane was unbelievable against West Ham.
Yeah, yeah. Kane is
the post as well. I was like, how did you get that shot so almost perfect? Like, is
yeah.
so
He's unbelievable. He's the best. He's a top class number 9, and he's becoming a top class number 10 as well. Just able to do everything. Like, he's top class.
Footwork. You'd think he'd be more like hello. I don't know. Crouch had good footwork as well, which you wouldn't expect. What I'm trying to say is you wouldn't expect such good footwork out of the demeanor of Kane or how he looks, you know.
I think, are you trying to say, maybe I could put it more eloquently, are you trying to say you wouldn't expect such a good touch out of a big man?
I suppose, yeah.
I suppose. Yeah, no, I agree. Like, but that's why I think he's like he's the proper number 9, or everyone's talking about him as just like the good old like number 9. But now he's so much more than that as well. Like, he's the touch, the vision, like the passing. He's yeah, like I don't think I think he's underrated. I don't think he gets enough credit. Like, I can't see many players.
He definitely does in fucking England anyway. Like sports, an English striker. How can he be underrated? You fucking crazy. What about Ireland? Have you been on the Ireland not to score a goal bet?
No, somehow I haven't. Like, again, Joe, as a fucking Joe, like, just, you know, not to be like results oriented, and you know how like streaks work, and you know how, like, you know, even things that seem so quote unquote obvious aren't that obvious. But for fuck's sake, you can predict every single Ireland game. It's so fucking easy. It's like, you know, 0-0 is probably the correct answer, and then like 1-0 is then
1-0 to the other team. Put those two bets on every match,
or 1-1 with a Shane Duffy header. But like, if you bet under 2.5 goals, like, there hasn't been more than 2 goals in an Ireland game.
The 1-1, they'd have to go behind before they'd put Shane Duffy up there.
Yeah, I can't. I don't know. Like the Ireland results, I generally just I don't really bet, because I know it's a bad idea to bet on, you know.
You shouldn't be shouting against your country. Yeah.
So okay. So myself and Conor, we had a bit of football chat there, so it may not make its way into the final end.
Hey, you're cutting all that out as well.
This is our second take at the take of the cost. So yeah, for the we're about 2.5 hours into the podcast now. So if anyone wants the uncut version, that'll be available to our VIP subscribers. But
$99.
Yeah, for $99, and make sure to check out bbzpoker.com. But so Conor, you're now you're rich, you're a successful poker player, you're a good-looking Irishman.
Don't be telling people I'm rich. My money, I gave it all to my mother. Don't be asking me for money.
This has come up a few times on the podcast. Yeah, if anyone wants a loan, by all means, Conor, he's looking to pay it forward. So Conor, you've baby on the way. I said money in the bank. What's next? What's the story? When's the baby?
Health. I need to get healthy.
Healthy, okay.
Yeah, so she's fucking every single day. When you Laura was the same. Oh, you should lose weight. Oh, why are you eating that? Every woman in my life, except my mother. My mother does it as well, actually. But women love giving out to you for being unhealthy. I suppose they're right, though, in fairness.
Yeah, look, being healthy it's good advice. You can't argue with that. It's good advice, like.
Yeah, it's hard. I went for, like I said, I went for a victory lap the other day. I've gone jogging around here. It's kind of like, remember when we first went to LA, I started off doing a 1K jog around the block.
Yeah.
And I built up eventually to a 5K. And then when we got back to Limerick, I did like a 10K sponsored run and stuff. So I know I can do it. We had a couple of bets. I won the first one, you won the second one, right?
Yeah, you.
I was convinced I was going to win the second one.
That bet, I was just so I don't know if depressed is the right word, but I remember, in I think it was November. So yeah, we had a bet at the start of the year, 2016, a weight loss bet, and by November, I hadn't lost any weight. I think you'd lost a little bit, but I hadn't lost any weight by November. And I was just, it hit me at that stage, and I was just like, "Fuck this!" So that was definitely a bit of a turning point for me, anyway. To be like, "Okay, fuck this now. I'm not fucking around anymore with this." So yeah, I won the second one.
Pat, you in that shitty gym in that motel we were staying in. Just you were there on the bike, just
grinding. That's fucking grinding. Yeah, grinding the broken fucking stationary bike in the shitty motel. But
you clearly kept at it. I mean, you look quite good. Sorry, you look great, Jamie.
Thanks, Conor. Thanks.
Great. Show us your the rest of your body there. Stand up.
No.
No.
For now. Lockdown hasn't been the kindest to me now, but still roughly where I was at, but haven't gotten any better shape. So so health is the big priority for you at the moment.
Well, it's the next thing, right? I've accomplished finance. I have a beautiful girlfriend, baby on the way. It's the only other thing that I need to sort out, really.
Okay.
Obviously, finances still need to keep going. You need a house, right? That's the main thing. But yeah, houses in London are ridiculous. But yeah, hell, I wanna run. I wanna try and run as much as I can. And I have a gym right next door, but I feel if I join the gym, I'm never gonna run. And I think I need to, because I tried to get in shape through doing weights, and I had a personal trainer for a while who was quite good, taught me a lot, and I was doing well. But it's just, if you were to get on a strict diet and run and do weights maybe once or twice, what's your thing? What was your regime?
At the moment, kind of for the last while, and the last while being probably like over the last year or so, kind of weights 3 times a week. So kind of push, pull legs. Haven't really increased the weights or anything. So just weights just to keep it ticking over, and then kind of playing a lot of soccer and stuff the last while. But yeah,
soccer is absolutely unbelievable for weight loss.
Yeah.
Or it's, oh my God, the stop start. That's just so good, and it's not even boring because you're playing soccer, right? All the other exercise is boring. I really wish I had a 5-a-side game that I can get into over here. And I think I did actually. My godfather's or my godmother's son, who I was telling you about, got me into a game in Watford, but he said there was a few Watford first teamers, old first teamers, like from back in the day, that play it, and I'm like, oh my God, no way! I'm not going up there playing this high standard. So, and that was the day after I won the 228k as well. So I definitely wasn't going. He hasn't got back to me about it since. I must get on to him. Jesus Christ, I trailed, don't I? I trailed off. It's your job. You have to be the Joe Rogan here now and get me back on track.
You're back on top. So if we relate that,
what were we talking about? Aston Villa.
We were
beating.
Yeah. So if you're enjoying the content, guys, make sure to like and subscribe. Let us know if you want to hear more of this rambling football, exercise, general kind of talk. Anything you'd like to finish on, Conor? Any?
We have to give away those. We have to give away those videos.
Okay, right? So we have to decide on a giveaway. So your Instagram is what's the name?
CC.
OONNOO or
no. It's Conor O'Driscoll, all one word, but 2 C's at the start. Okay.
Step number 1 of promotion: have an easy to remember tagline. So Conor O'Driscoll, 2 C's at the start. So follow Conor O'Driscoll on Instagram. I'll put a link in the description below.
In the subscription or description.
Description. Don't follow me on Instagram. I don't post much on Instagram. You can follow me on Twitter at @jam_.
Don't follow you on Instagram.
No,
I thought
if you want, you can if you want, but
if you follow Jamie on Instagram, make sure to unfollow.
so unfollow Jamie. I don't even know my Instagram name. Unfollow me. Follow Conor O'Driscoll. What you can do, subscribe to the Lockdown Life YouTube page. Okay. We'll give away some videos. We'll look after you. You want to get better at poker? BBZPoker.com. And I do appreciate it. Thanks to BBZ. Do appreciate it. Nice of them to.
There's nothing to do with them. It was me that got the videos.
You're right, BBZ. Look, you're like a few 100,000 richer. You know, look, it's the least you can do. It's actually they really should be giving away.
What do you think about me streaming, man? Do you think I'll be a good streamer? The only problem is I'd have to have a few beers every time, and the health thing would be on the back burner then.
Yeah, for the good of your health, maybe you just have to learn how to stream without drinking beer.
Over. Jesus Christ. Talk publicly sober. I suppose you'd get used to it after a while.
This is my first podcast drinking. Connor suggested we have a few beers to, you know, just celebrate all the good news in the world. So look, the sober speaking it's not as bad as you think. You get used to it.
Yeah. Okay. Sure, even Andy Black had to have a few glasses of wine on your.
He did. He was playing. Yeah. So Andy Black was drinking during the podcast as well. So you're definitely not the first. I don't think you'll be the last. So but it's just if you're to be consistently streaming, could be bad long term. But is
there any other way of getting drunk other than drinking?
There's other ways. There's other ways of impairing your mind. Yeah.
Yeah, but I couldn't imagine. I couldn't imagine streaming in any of the ways I've tried. Anyway, I haven't tried heroin. Though. Maybe heroin.
Okay, we'll be giving away the third BBZ video. All you have to do is give a suggestion of how Conor can mentally impair himself to stream. That suggestion gets the third video to BBZ, I think.
Yeah, I like it.
Conor, any parting words? One piece of advice you'd give to everyone in your many years on this planet?
Nobody cares. Work harder.